The floor. Hey, I ain't know. Oh, okay.
No, he ready to
Yeah,
do a live countdown.
Okay. Okay.
hello, and we're back again with the Just Us Show, brought to you by the UB Podcast Network. And before we get started, I'm gonna go ahead and let Queen Unique read this famous disclaimer that she always tells you about.
It's gonna be different tonight, so y'all get y'all juice. Don't drink no wine. Psych, psych, psych. Yeah. This is not a part of the Unique Blessings nonprofit organization. Everyone know I am Queen Unique, and we are here just being ourselves tonight. Grab your water, your wine. Saints, go to bed. Get those kids out of your room. You might can leave the kids in the room tonight. I don't know. We might can have some kids. I don't know. We'll see. But keep your kids protected because we just gonna be us, and we are back at you again on Saturday night. So go ahead, King.
All right, with special guest tonight, all the way from the Queen City. So I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself so you can get familiar with who he is.
Hey man, listen. I just feel like I am the prophet, man, the messenger, a man of God first and foremost. I am what the people should see in themselves, the example. Um, I am who I am, like you said, man. I try not to get too deep into it, but your boy, man, I just the journey. You know what I mean? I am the person who a lot of people they hope to see in so many young men. That's why I pour so much of me into them because I want them to see themselves in me, not be me, but be better than me, but also see change, man. So I leave the rest up to you. I ain't gonna spill too much out.
Okay. Well, and I'm privileged and glad to hear you saying that you know how much you pour into the young men. So tonight's topic is how are you impacting the youth?
Absolutely.
And so you know when we say the youth, I feel like we have to meet them where they at because my sector of the youth, how I growed up, is definitely not their sector. You know what I mean? Times has changed. It's different. Society's different, and the way I navigated through life, I had all these dudes that was like my father, my grandfather, uncles, people that went to school with my dad. Like, if you was doing something wrong, they put you in the car and take you home. The youth don't have that anymore. So, with that being said, man, let's talk about how you impact the youth.
Man, I started well, let me say this. I was the troubled young man. I have a very interesting background that kind of flows into why I do what I do at the level that I do it at. As we were speaking earlier, like how do you have so much energy to do what you do? But it just goes to once you know where I come from and know what I experienced and the things I had to endure, it start making sense. Again, I was a young man who I grew up, man. It was the drug epidemic. It was very, I want to say at a high level, you know what I mean, from drug abuse. My mom was a user, my brothers which was older guys was selling drugs. So I witnessed it. I was a part of it. I was in the midst of it, and so I kind of like picked up the desire, the eagerness to be like my brother, sell drugs and be well respected and feared. And I wanted that image. I wanted that young boy to be that what he saw every single day. So I did become a product of my environment. But I grew up in, foster homes and group homes. I was in and out the detention centers and training schools, state prison and federal prison. By the grace of God, I'm standing here today. I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm amongst the living. But most importantly, man, I just feel like I am using every ounce of my breath in my body to speak life into so many of these young boys and to show people by my examples of what change really looks like. And, you know, facing a life sentence at 13 years old for attempted murder charge that I did commit, you know, I was a lost vessel. You know, sometimes I even think back and I look back at a lot of my mugshots. You know, I didn't have a clue. I didn't have no guidance. I didn't have no structure. I didn't have nothing. You know, it was almost like it was a young person who just was a shell. And so, you know, just when you look at so many of the things that we're looking at today with these young boys, man, and not just young boys, young girls too, but with the youth in general, you know, they don't have guidance. They don't have structure. They don't have no type of support. But, you know, I mean, it's something that I always admit that, you know, this generation that has the problem, it's the kids, it's the offspring from my generation. This is my generation kids that we're trying to save. So we have to look back and say, okay, at that era where we was coming up, what started to transform? What started to change? And so it was the drugs. It was the music. You know, I mean, music started changing in the early 90s. You know, and you know, where music used to have a message back in the late 80s and 70s, music had a message to where music started to change to the more sex, drugs, gangster. It was, you know, we had a balance, but you start seeing the change. And so that's one of the things I just feel like, you know what I mean, when you talk about the youth, you talk about me, you know what I mean? And I was that young boy who was lost. I was lost.
Interesting, man. Interesting. So with you impacting the youth, man, you know, I see you had some troubles earlier, you know, in your life. Mm-hmm. So my question is, man, you was facing a life sentence. Mm-hmm. And how did you reiterate where you wanted to go in life? And mentally and emotionally, man, how did you get on that right track? Because it takes a lot mentally and emotionally to get on that right track, man, because some people never get on the right track because their mind state won't allow them to. And so with your mind state changing and allowing you to know that you are somebody that this is something that you can do and you can help inspire and help educate and uplift those who've been where you have been at and show them how they can get out their rut. So how was that for you?
It was, for me to change, it was hard. I'm not going to sit here and fabricate and say, hey, man, it was an easy transition for me. Change is not easy for anybody. I don't care what it is. If you're trying to change and say, I'm trying to lose weight, that's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy because it starts, again, like you said, it starts with your mind, it starts with your mental. You know what I mean? You have to truly want it. You have to really be dedicated and disciplined. If you want to just be better in life in general, it starts here. Your mind is the most strongest vessel, tissue, muscle that your body holds. And so to really want change, you got to truly want it. And so just to go back, I was facing 2 life sentences before I was 20 years old. You know, I was facing a life sentence at 13 and they kept me as a juvenile. I was facing 24 years to life at 13 years old for attempted murder. They kept me as a juvenile. And so I ended up doing 4 years. I got out at 17. I went right back at 19 for another attempted murder charge, and I was facing 35 years of life. And I ended up signing a 10-year plea on that. And so my change, and I credit 2 things. I credit the prison system because I believe in the prison system. I do. I support the prison system. And here's why I support the prison system. Because prison system saved my life. It saved my life. And if it wasn't for me going to prison, I can almost guarantee you I would probably be dead right now or something terribly. I wouldn't be who I am and where I'm at today. If it wasn't for me going to prison and getting that time to sit down to really just take advantage of that isolation to where I can really just rehabilitate my mind, my spirit, just what I want out of life and what I want to do from this point forward. And the second thing I credit, honestly, is God. You say, how did I change? I didn't change on my own. I did not change on my own. And it took for me to get to a place to where I had no other choice. You've done everything, you tried everything, and it have not worked for you. And everything you wanted to do and everything you tried, it got you where you at today. And so what else can you try? What you got to lose? And so I had a lot of brothers, man, who used to come to me and want me to come to Bible study, want me to come to church, and I would always decline. I would never. I was like, man, I'm good, I'm straight. And it was to one day I was ready to go to church. I wanted to. I did not grow up in a church. I never went to church. I walked into a church for the first time in my entire life. I was 24 years old. And so that experience for me was life-changing when I went to church when I was in federal prison in Kentucky. And so I went to federal prison. I was 22 years old. I was 22 years old in federal prison. And that's where my life changed because I gave my life to Christ. I surrendered. I said, you know, I can't do it my way no more. I'd rather try it your way. I don't know what the end result's going to be. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I'm willing to gamble. I'm willing to try whatever it is necessary to change my life. So I made a commitment while I was in prison. So that's why I support prison, because I know I wouldn't be able to change if I was free. It would have been too many distractions. It would have just been too much around me. So I needed to be isolated. So I always encourage people, some people, it takes for you to remove yourself from certain people, environments, around family members, so on and so forth. So with me going to prison and being away from everyone, it allowed me to really, really figure out what do I want to do with my life. And so I made a commitment and I dedicated, said, I'm done. So at this point, I've already been through every system the system has to offer before I was 21 years old. You know, you're talking about foster homes, group homes, detention centers, training schools, state prison, and federal prison before I'm 21. So it was just like, I'm done. I'm just tired mentally, emotionally, psychologically. I'm tired, you know, and so, you know, and it was at that point to where I'm like, I'd rather try something that I never tried before. And that was God. And God, it started, he got me here. But before he got me here, he had to heal my heart. The heart part was the hardest thing for me, because even as adults, we still hold on to things that happened to us, what people done to us as we was kids. So my heart was the first thing, honestly, was the most challenging thing, because I didn't want to forgive those who did things to me. And so I didn't even share that, you know, me being molested 4 times before I was 11, 2 by men and 2 by women. I didn't even share the fact that my father used to physically beat the crap out of me and do things to me as a kid when I was 7 or 8 years old. So all of these things that I experienced, all these things that people done to me, I held on to it. So my heart had to heal before my mind. But once my heart started to heal, my mind became renewed. And so that's how I ended up changing. But it happened when I gave my life to Christ, if that's answered your question.
Oh, you answer my question and then some. And I'm gonna throw a few chips and a napkin in there too. For real, for real. Listen, brother. I'm gonna tell you like this, but before I tell you what I say, I'm gonna go ahead and let Queen Unique just jump in there, because I seen this glitch in her eyes when you were speaking. And might I add that you are a very phenomenal speaker. You know, I listen to a lot of speakers, man. You like she stated, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins and Dr. Eric Michael Dyson. I listen to a lot of speakers, man, and you are very captivating and fruitful speaker, as the church folks would say. His speech is fruitful. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Let me share something with you. When God put this in me, I tell people it's a difference between people who there's a difference between people who choose this platform and those who are chosen. Ooh. I was chosen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't choose this. I didn't say, you know what, I want to be a speaker. I didn't choose this. I did not choose this. And I said it again, I did not choose this. It chose me. I've never been to a seminar. I don't follow no other speakers. I'm not a fan of no other speakers. I follow God, and I'm my biggest fan. And everything that I speak from my heart. I speak from my heart. And, And it's just amazing when God can make the unqualified qualified, the unskilled skilled. I'm the first one in my family to graduate and get a college degree, but I dropped out. Everyone in my family dropped out of high school. I'm the first one. So to show people what God can do, this is what y'all witnessing, what y'all been seeing, like Miss Queen been saying, that's been God. I just been doing the work. He's just been maneuvering and making the path straight and connecting me with people and opening up these doors. I, like you said in the beginning, I said, brother, I'm just staying busy. I'm just keeping my feet moving and my hands moving, you know, and that's what it is. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep doing the work, and God gonna continue to do the blessing, and the doors is going to continue to open. All I need to do is just continue to open my mouth. That's all I need. Just continue to open your mouth so people can hear you. People can see me through you. And I'm going to let you have it, Miss Queen. But I just wanted to say that, brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whew. Oh, my God. All I can say is, oh, my God. Like, so I'm getting chills. Oh, King Jacob know me very well. And he know when I get to this point, it's like, whoa. Thank you. And most of all, thanks to our creator for this moment.
Absolutely.
So I don't really have any questions because I'm actually enjoying, I'm enjoying the confirmation. I'm enjoying the deliverance. I had some questions, but before I got on here, I questioned God. I had a conversation and I'm like, I was battling like, okay, where do I know him from? Like, I know I follow you. I know I've been following you, and it's been for some years, and it just wouldn't come to me. But like you said, when you are in that space where it's just you and God in isolation, things begin to happen. And I have to think it was when I was in 2016 when I was going through the trauma with my own personal story and my daughter. And we said that this was not a part of Unique Blessings nonprofit organization, but it is a unique blessing. And so really gratitude in my heart for everything. I'm speechless. I'm just kind of in a spiritual space right now. You said a lot of things that was profound. Forgiveness, forgiving people and not having that hard heart is so important. And I too myself work with youth. I am the youth. I'm a part of Millennium. I'm 40. And so I can relate to you, and I smile and I thank God for you. I thank God for saving you for something, and especially as a time like this, we need more males. Everybody know I say this kind of often now. I pray that the last 2 years, I think it's been just to send more men for personal reasons, for me to be able to forgive. I have a 22-year-old son, just to see that it's possible. Possible meaning you can live beyond all things. I promise you, I must have met you when my daughter too was assaulted in school and some things in human trafficking. And I was out and I was searching and I was seeking, and I stumbled upon you doing, I'm not going to say your beginning, but the beginning for me as it relates to being out here in Charlotte. But I wanted to know, like, what was your start? The questions that I asked God before I got on, I'm like, I'm going to ask him, well, what, he started. Because when I met you, I think you were promoting, you were kind of moving about, so it wasn't the time and place. But the best thing about our creator is if you keep moving what you need, it'll be there to connect. All week, I think, and I've been back with the youth, and I've been working on this heart thing, forgiving myself so that I can be able to forgive other people, but most of all, be an example to the youth that love us so much. I just got to work with you. Like, I got to work with you. I'm in Charlotte too. Don't know what, where, and how, but just surviving molestation and I have one parent who was addicted to substance. You have two, and just the systems. And I love that you said that the prison system, it do work. It work if you allow that process to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think that we see return or repeat offenders. It's not so much as the prison system calling them back, is God calling them to hold them, to save them. Before we got on here, I was watching murders of offsprings or something, moms of offspring murders or something like that, and they had a ceremony going on with a young man that had lost his life. And it took me back to when I was 19 years old and my child father was murdered. And for a moment, I had a choice. I had a choice to go back there or be reminded of why I'm here. And although you still feel the remnants of that past pain, that past hurt, I said the saints go to bed, but I think they need to wake up. Like they just should come on in. And like you are sitting here and you are a prophet, and I'm so happy that you are able to still show up, deliver, be with us and help us. So I don't have no questions because I'm truly enjoying the moment. I'm letting the spirit work how it wants to work. A lot of confirmation going on right here. It's my first week kind of back out in a group setting with the youth. So much has happened in this pandemic with our leaders not showing up, with us not working together. The youth can't be together if we don't be together. Like they need to see us working together, men and women. Someone said, to me that I probably should focus more on girls, or they wanted me to focus more on girls, but life is created between a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. So without one, the other just can't exist. And so I'm excited to just kind of be right here in this space. I don't have any questions, which is rare for me because you are just giving me life right now. And I thank you. I thank you for being transparent. And hopefully we'll have more youth and adults follow this as it relates to the males, and you are coming on showing us yourself and being vulnerable so that we can know that you too matter. We can understand that we're not alone in our success. We're not alone in our defeat. And so I just kind of want to let y'all do what y'all do. If the spirit keep going, like we'll just be here all night. But I thank you for your strength and I thank you for your transparency. So I don't have any questions right now.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so my brother, this is what I want to ask you. When you was going through what you was going through earlier in your life, and you overcame those challenges and those obstacles, and you are who you are today, when and where did you find your identity? So, because this is sometimes I feel that a lot of Black men that's stuck in this poverty situation, and they feel like they don't have nowhere to turn to. And so if a Black man doesn't know his identity, then he can't know God. So for you to know God, when did you find that identity and understand who you really were?
I didn't find my identity and who I really was and what I was called to do. Maybe 32 years old.
Okay.
And I say that, because a lot of people have to understand that you may not get it right now. And as adults, as men and women, many of us are still trying to get it, still trying to figure it out, still waiting on that answer, still looking for that confirmation. And, and I've always encouraged more people to understand, younger people in general, that life is a lesson every day you wake up. You're learning every day. You're gonna never have it all figured out. No matter how successful you get, no matter what you go through, life is a lesson. Every day you're gonna be going through something, and you have to be mature. You have to be patient, and you have to have a still mind to understand that's a lesson. I got that. I heard that. I see that. And, and that's how, for me, I feel like God has gotten me to where I receive things, either I'm hearing it or I'm seeing it, but I'm mature now. But I was 32 years old when I understood who I was, and not saying that I didn't know who I was prior to or previously, but I know who I am, and I'm not easily moved. No one can tell me. I know. And when you just know. And and it's a difference. Like, I cannot explain it, but it's a confidence thing. It's a reassurance thing that you don't have to wait on somebody to tell you. You just know. You wake up with it, and you walk. It's a certain walk that you possess, and it's a thing that when you walk in a room, it's an energy. It's an energy. Like, people feel it's so powerful that it rubs off on you to other people, and that's when that, like, I know the power, and it's power. I know I have power, that I can change the atmosphere. I can change the lives of so many people just by my presence. And a lot of times I don't even have to say nothing. You can just be standing in a room and somebody can say it's just something about you. That's knowing who you are. So, God got me, even though I was in my early 20s. I had to go through what I went through. But when I got to that point of knowing who I was, I had to be like 32, 33 years old.
Okay, so trust God and trust the process, of course.
Man, listen, you better.
There is a process.
You better. And I want to say, people have to understand that it's a difference between progress and process. It's a difference, and I tell people, don't focus on the progress. In life, don't look at how much you changed. Don't get too caught up on how far you gotten. What are you learned, or what have you learned through this journey, and why you're still going through this journey? What have you learned? And when you look at it, when I gave my life to Christ in 2005, from 2005 to now, what have I learned? Yeah, I can look back and say, man, I went through boom, 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 boom. And there's a lot of people can look back and say, yeah, I done went through XYZ, but what have you learned? And how has it developed you? How has it changed you, created something in you, redeveloped, reconfirm? Like, what has that process done in your life to where you at right now in your life, that you could say, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be who I am today. But a lot of people so busy keep looking back and seeing how far they got and how much they changed and where they come from, that they not even learning nothing through everything they've been through. So the process is key to anything and everywhere you go in life. I don't care if it's a marriage. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care if it's a business. I don't care what it is. Whatever you go through in life, that process is the key to actually becoming the person you need to be, so you can go where you want to go in life.
I can dig it. So another question for you, and I can't ask everybody this question, but I feel like I can ask you. So the spiritual nutrition that you get from God daily, how has that helped you? How has that helped you navigate through society?
I like to say, what is it? Even though I want to just see if you can explain it. I mean, I'm on the process. What is it? What is it? What is spiritual nutrition? Like, what is that? What is that?
Would you like me to answer that?
Composed of?
To me, the spiritual nutrition is a nutrition that registers with you when you get blessed, but it's also a lesson. That's a part of the spiritual nutrition.
But and this is for him, but before you get to that blessing, and these are setup questions to take us somewhere, as if we already not deep enough in the water. But how do I know that I'm blessed for both of you all? What is a blessing? How can I show up for those lessons? Because earlier on my Facebook, I put, just because the student needs to learn doesn't mean that they'll learn from you being a teacher. I kind of probably was worded different, but just because I'm the teacher and you the student doesn't mean you're going to learn in my class. So how do you know when it's your time? Because he returned back to a place he had already been to have to get some more of what he needed to get forward. So, I mean, and I think that the young guys the young children really need to hear that today with the gun violence, the numbness. When I came to Charlotte, I was numb. I didn't give a damn about nothing. So I'm from Baltimore City. It was like,
I was about to say that because you kept saying two. I'm like, okay, that sounds like Baltimore.
Don't compliment. But what is a blessing? Because I mean, and Jacob, I heard you got a call about it last night. Someone put on their Facebook post, and we won't say any names, that I'm not talking to God anymore. I gave up. I don't want to hear it no more. So how do we get to what everybody's saying is a blessing? How do we know that this is time for a lesson? Like, what is spiritual nutrition? Especially when I don't have no faith.
So let me say this, spiritual nutrition. When you don't have any faith, okay, when you hear a voice, say you're at the lake and nobody else can save this child, but you hear a voice in your head that say, go get this boy, but you have no faith in God. You don't go to church. You don't believe nothing in the Bible, but you still go save this young man. That's a spiritual voice to you. And the nutrition is you follow that direction to save a life. And you asking everybody else, did you tell me go save these young men? No, I didn't tell you to go save them. But you heard a voice in your head. That's the voice of God. That's spiritual enlightenment, that's spiritual awakening, and that's spiritual nutrition. Now, you said something about the teacher. Because you're in the teacher class, don't mean you're going to learn. You might not get it that day, but it's going to be something that teacher said, especially if it's a profound teacher. It's something that they said where it might come to you and register you 10 years later. You still learned something from the teacher.
And I would like to get some of that.
Yeah, I definitely want both of you guys on it.
Spiritual nutrition, I feel like, and it goes back, I think we've answered or we dived into it. And that nutrition I feel like it can be anything when you have that relationship and that connection with God. When you woke up this morning, I say this all the time. If you woke up this morning, God done his part, the rest on you. And have, like, to me, that's power in itself. And, or just, I said it earlier, a few minutes ago, that, God will show you things during this journey. You have to be mature and have a still mind to know. And like I say, everything in life is nutrition, like is how you use it. Like, for instance, I have a discernment mind that I can really look at anything and get a lesson from it. You know what I mean? That can be nutrition where, you know what I mean, I have a mature spirit and mind to where God can show me something through you or through something and I receive it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to sit in a church to get nutrition. I don't even have to read the Bible every day to get nutrition. I don't have to listen to maybe a TD Jakes to get nutrition like most of other people have to. I could just be still and just hear God and say, I got you. I hear you. I can sit at a light and like, ooh, I got you. And it goes to this next thing I'm about to share with this story. And let me tell you how God works, because in the Bible, God was never a person. It was a thing. It was a voice. It was a feeling. God always spoke from the sky, God spoke from the bush, or he spoke through something. Jesus was the only thing the Bible said was a person. But God never was an image. It was always a spirit. So and that's, to me, I tell people, like, let's remove religion. Let's just take religion out of the equation right now. You know what I mean? And honestly, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I lead through spirit. And spirit, what a lot of people see, religion will have people speaking from tradition, what you was taught. But if you spirit, that's God speaking through you. It's not you per se. But one morning I was washing my car, and I'm gonna say this real quick, tell this quick story, even though it was a long story. But I was washing my car real quick, and the homeless person came to me. He was digging in the garbage can, and before I share the story, God would send a message through a peasant, through someone that you wouldn't even thought of or looked at can tell you something. But he asked me, he said, sir, let me dry your car off for you. And I was like, nah, no, Bear, I'm good. But God spoke to me that quick and said, let him dry it off and give him everything what's in your pocket. Again, if you have a still mind to hear God, and it's not you're not in your way, you're listening to God. I gave the man my tile to drive my car. He drives it off. I asked him, I said, what do you think I owe you for your services? He looked at it. He said, $100. I said, $100. So you're telling me what you done is worth $100? He said, yes. I said, okay. I reached in my pocket. I pulled out $4. He said, that's not enough. He said, keep coming. I went back in my pocket and I pulled out 2 more bills. It was 2 5s. He said, keep coming. I went back in my pocket, pulled out 2 more bills. It was 2 10s. He said, keep coming. The next bill was a 20. He said, keep coming. The next bill was a 20. He said, keep coming. And listen, what I'm telling God is telling us is, listen, don't be selling yourself short. You know what you're worth. Ask for what you know you're worth. Don't be afraid to ask people and tell people you know what you're worth. And so I went in my pocket till there was nothing left in my pocket. He didn't know what was in my pocket. I honestly didn't know the amount. I knew I had money. It was $94. This dude asked for $100, and he ended up with $94. And at that moment, I told him, I said, you thought you came here and got a blessing. I said, but God sent you to me to bless me with what you just taught me. And as a speaker, as a contractor, sometimes we sell ourselves short. Sometimes we try to get that contract. So we try to go up under what we normally say we would charge a person. But I told him, I said, you just told me that, know what my worth is and stand on that. Don't waver, don't bend, don't fold, don't compromise. Know what you worth and stand on that. And I told him, I said, God sends you to me. That day, I gave him $94. God blessed me with $4,000 of schools purchased, like 300-something books. It ended up being like $4,000. Being obedient. So that spiritual nutrition is being still and listening to God every single day. I wake up. God, what you trying to tell me? Even if I'm brushing my teeth, I'm listening through my spirit, through my heart. And we have to learn to be quiet and still sometimes, and don't have to be looking for outside resources or outside influence for confirmation. God said, I've given it to you, but you're not listening. I'm gonna just stop.
You know what? Like I said before, I have questions. I have questions in my membrane that I can't ask everybody, brother. And these are divine questions, and we all know the divine meaning of God. So it's definitely questions that I have in my membrane that I can't share with people. God disclosed me who I can share these questions with, because everybody is not going to give me a prolific or profound answer that is of God. So with that being said, my next question to you is, I've been reading some stuff about you, and social influencer is what I came up with. Now hearing you talk about how God saved your life and how he's working through you to inspire others, to let others know who he is and what he can do for them at the same as he's done for you. So let's talk about the social influencer that you are. So why is social influence so important to you this day and age? And how has that social influence put you in places that you never thought you would be in?
I feel like being a social influence is being able to communicate, to talk, to listen, to understand other people, and allowing myself to articulate myself into a way to where people can understand me. And sometimes, and I say this because sometimes when you look at social influencers, sometimes they put themselves in a place at a pedestal where people can't see themselves or understand. Like I'm not sitting here saying I'm a professor or a English major. No, I'm going to speak to you in a way that you can understand. I'm going to present myself to you in a way that you can see yourself, and it just like it makes so much sense. And so being a social influencer, it's not just my presence, it's my voice. Sometimes you like today, the ladies never met me a day in their life. Never met me, and by my influence, my presence on social media has caused them to change and to do certain things in their life they never thought they could have done. But to be a man of God, let me say that, to be a man of God, and to be, I want to thank God that I had a stubborn spirit, that I didn't follow the church. Yes. I didn't do it the church way.
Yes.
You know, and I always stop people when they say, when you going to answer your call? And I thought that was the question that you was going to ask me too. When you was like, I was thinking
I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual. Know, I mean, I can only be who I
am. But when somebody asks you, when are you going to answer your calling? Your calling.
I always say, I've already answered my calling.
Yeah, right, he already answered. I got chills going everywhere.
But your calling may be a different calling from someone else, what they think is your calling.
Correct.
And so what I think is, a lot of people don't know how powerful, the ministry is like, your social influence is a part of your ministry.
It is my ministry.
And even if he didn't have that, King Jacob, because King Jacob be on my back. So he be on my back about some things. And I feel like we can team up against him tonight. He said, well, when you gonna do this? Oh, you really need to do that.
See,
when you already have answered the call, it happens every day, all day. And it can happen with that one man driving the car, or it can happen with a mass of people. You have no control over your destiny and divinity. You have no control over it. When the spirit take over and take hold, sometimes it's just you, the ancestors, and that's it. And you're like, wow, that was lit. I wish I could have gave that away, but sometimes you gotta give it to, because the spirit is working through you. So it's feeding your soul, your flesh. Is helping you prepare for what's to come. And being still, that's the hardest thing to do. But when you still, so many things happen. And the best times that happen for me is when it's sent to me. When I leave, they say, don't go looking for trouble. Let trouble find you. And even in a spiritual sense, that's just the best way to be. Like, when you're supposed to be wherever you are, you'll be wherever you are if you just obey. Like, nobody couldn't get to you when you was locked away. Like, we had to wait for that. And I always tell people, it's like I don't eat meat, but it's like putting that thick old steak in the oven. You can't just take it out. Some people like it medium rare. Some people like it well done. Some people want it falling off of the bone. You, like, spirit don't allow you to pick. It pick you. And that's just how it go. Like King Jacob, like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, I wish I could record everything of what I'm doing all day, every day. Unfortunately, that's not where I belong right now. I think it's fortunate for me because I hate the camera, but I still get to spend time with spirits such as yours. Like, for years, I've been following confirmation. Even tonight when y'all was talking, like today I brought a sweatshirt. What does it say? It say I was born divine. And y'all just sat here and said it. Y'all don't know where I went at today. So it's just like those things like that. And it's like, oh my God, okay, this is confirmation. It's still something that's leading up to that. Right. So I'm where I need to be, King Jacob. Don't come for me no more, because I'm sitting here in service tonight on a Saturday night. This is church. Like, on a Saturday night, the church that came to me.
Hey, bro, listen.
I love it. Like, I'm loving this. This was the great, like, King Jacob, this was the best guest. I hope ain't nobody watching us that I've been on with anybody else, but I gotta speak the truth, and the truth is the light. And that's how we get out of darkness. This is the best show so far for me since I've been doing Just Us podcast. So go ahead, y'all. Let's keep it going.
So she say that I said that she gonna do enough. So
Yeah, he be fussing at me all the time and trying to comfort me.
One thing you gotta understand about me, I don't care who you is, brother, sister, foe, friend. I know what I see.
Right.
And I know what God tell me to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, if you don't want to be pushed, you don't want to be elbowed in the back into greatness. Okay. You know what I mean?
God don't push you into greatness. It just kind of show up and you great without even knowing that you're great. It's just like you're actually is greater in me that is in she. It's like you are great. You know you great. You get up. Like you feel me? Like I got kids, I got grandkids, I have an audience already. And it's something about that staying still. It's something about that just staying still, that isolation time, that whole fertilization time, watering the garden, like making sure the fruit is sweet, that just all of that stuff. And it's a process. And like, I think I don't look at where I came from, and we all often don't get to come into contact with our own on the spiritual end, because you got work to do over there, you got work to do over here, but the chills and all of that that's coming, it's like, man, this is lit. I'm right where I need to be.
and see, King, one thing about people that's doing this, that, other, and the third, and doing what they do, they will never see what the people see on the outside looking in.
Right.
And so, with that being said, when a person sees something on the outside looking in, you know, and they share these things with you, and they understand what you're doing, but they understand what it could be so much more for you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am pushy. I'm very pushy. So
can
you
I
know
say,
what I mean?
Can I jump in? And I thank God that he reached me. He got me at the time in my life when he did, and I'm glad that I was ready at the time that I was. You know, and as I look at the body of people who are believers, who are Christians, so on and so forth, I see a bunch of scared people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a bunch of people who operate in faith.
Right.
I don't see a bunch of people who believe in God the way they say they believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to the spiritual nutrition that you was talking about. A lot of people just rely on just the word, but I rely on the spirit, and I move.
Mm-hmm.
And to say all that, to say that, you know, where God has me is where a lot of people are afraid to go.
Mm-hmm.
And
talk about it.
Oh yeah, pastors, deacons, bishops, so on and so forth, the people of the church, the congregation, they feel safe within the walls.
Yes.
But I feel confined if I go into the church. I don't feel like this is not where God has called me to be. God has called me to be outside. God has called me, and so we want to be biblical and we want to talk about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was a walking ministry. He met people where they were.
Yes.
He touched people where they were.
Yes.
And when he touched you, he healed you. When he healed you, he delivered you, and he went on to the next person. He was never sitting still.
Yes.
And I just feel like when you look at what God has called me, this is, again, it goes back to the first question. When did you become into that knowing of who you were? When you know who you are, you're not easily persuaded to do things what people think you should do. Because many people could say, here, listen, this is what you meant. No, that's why I say it, and I say it with so much confidence. And knowing I answered the call. When he appointed me, that you're going to go in places where people can't go, because it's not that they're not skilled, but they don't have the experience. I have the experience. that I can go places where my scars can speak for itself. My presence can speak for itself. My voice will speak for itself. My voice can say things that certain ears can only hear and can acknowledge. I understand that where many pastors can't. I can reach people where many pastors can't reach. So God, I tell people, God used certain people for certain things, for certain places, for certain times. And I just thank God, like if my job is to bring people out, to push people towards God, and if that leads them to the church, because again, I can't bring you to the church if I can't reach you where you are right now. And so right now, let me reach you where you are. Let me build something with you. Let's create something. Let me tell you how this thing worked for me. Because many times what a lot of people don't understand and get is that people relates to people who are real. Yeah. But when you get to a certain place and status, you forget where you come from.
Come on.
And so you don't speak from those certain places where you come from. You speak from a place of authority, talking down. I'm speaking to people where you at. So guess what? I'm on your doorstep. I'm in your house. I'm on that corner with you.
Come on.
I'm at your darkest. I'm talking to you, and I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you.
Come on.
And so, and that's why I'm so relatable. That's why I'm so easy to reach. Not only the person that has on the gown that preaches the word, but I also can reach the boy who just sold his last pack, or I'm also can talk to the person who has a gun in his back pocket, or the person who's running from the law, or the person who is thinking about committing suicide, or the person that don't know how to forgive someone who does. Like, not too many people have the scars that can show. So again, that's why when I say no, I've answered my calling. And if God called me to a higher level, it goes back to what we were saying. I have that mature spirit. I'm going to answer that call when you're ready, God. And if I never answer that call, and if my number is called, I'm satisfied because I've done the work, and I am okay. I'm satisfied. And every day, and every day I wake up, how can I use my influence? How can I use what you have given me? It's not for me to hold on to. It's not for me to keep it to myself. It's for me to pour back. It's for me to give. So if my next assignment is to be in the pulpit, I promise you my pulpit gonna be outside the church. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. Because what we're witnessing right now is a church of people who are powerless. They speak in tongues, but they can't speak life in someone else they don't even know.
Come on.
And if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. You know, you have pastors who are only powerful behind the pulpit. You have pastors that don't know how to operate that same power in the pulpit outside the church. And so to me, I'd rather use my influence and power to the masses, to the world. And if that helps you tap into your gift, if that whatever I'm speaking to you helps you become more closer to God and figure out what it is that God you'll call me to do. Now it's time for me to start listening. Then I would say I'm walking in my divine purpose. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so, you know what?
This is good. Like, whoa.
You know what, King? My pops used to talk about Apostle Paul in the Bible a lot, right? He said, give me a heart that knows no ill. Ooh. Listen, man. When people understand,
my God,
give me a heart that knows no ill. so I can walk in the grace of Odin. That's just a whole different level, man. For a person to understand what that really means, they can really understand, you know, how Job had the faith, and his wife said, "Why you trust this foolish God?" And Job just told foolish woman, "I know nothing of what you say." And his flesh fell off his bones, but he still trusted God.
He still trusted God, yeah.
So, you know, it tells you that most people don't have the faith the size of a mustard seed. And if anybody know how small a mustard seed is, and you don't have that much faith in God, like, something is really wrong with people, man.
Right.
I ain't gonna say nothing wrong with them. I'm gonna say that they haven't arrived yet, like that process. Like it take a lot to get to that mustard seed. You need people to show you that seed exists. You understand? Like the first thing I hear when we talking about seeds, you know, that's my thing. When we talking about seeds, it's the first thing people say, well, I don't have a green thumb. What if you don't need a green thumb?
Yeah.
You just need the process. So it's because of people like you, Jacob, that connect people like us, and we connected to something else. So nothing is wrong. It just takes a process. It takes the not just the chosen, the call, but answered. Because I told you, just because that call come, I was hanging up. I get back to that call later. And then one day I'm like, hello, and then I tried to hang up. After I said hello and showed God that somebody was there, when I picked it back up, it was still there. I'm hanging up. It's still there. Same call. So it takes you to know that a seed is a seed, regardless of the size. This is good. This is everything.
This what I'm gonna say, King. The same young lady that's talking on this live feed tonight.
Don't come for me. I told you I was going to behave tonight. We had went out in a parking lot and we was preaching, and even at the club. You're not going to come for me on here on the Just Us show, because I will be just me. He will have to save me tonight and take us all the way back to the water. Now I'm trying to dry off. It's almost time. I'm trying to dry off now. Don't you come for me.
The thing about being connected with me, there's a word that's called QUIC that don't exist in my vocabulary. We don't do none of that around here. We don't do none of that around here. Yeah. So with that being said, if anybody's connected with me, and the Queen will tell you, no, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. I don't know, because it's something.
I be having stalkers like him.
It's something in me that has me to believe to know there's something in you that has a divine purpose. I'm just gonna help you follow it. That's all.
Right. Is that why you had me co-host on Saturday nights? Because I refuse to have a show? Is that just set up? Because I quit tonight.
You can quit all you want to. You can quit all you want to. You know what?
I won't be available no more after these Saturdays.
This ain't my purpose. You know what I mean? This God's purpose. So if he don't find you on here, he gonna find you somewhere else.
This like I thought Kenneth bring it up. Y'all see Kenneth on here watching, but y'all is coming. Like I have prayed for this, but I know it's gonna call me out. But I pray for this, and this is absolutely phenomenal.
I wanted to share something because I know we were talking about youth, and yes. God allow us to do things and operate at a certain level based off of our comfort. And I want to say something to you, Miss Queen Unique, is that like where God has you, let me take that back. where you are right now, God has called you to break out of that. And I think you're looking for support, you're looking for resources, you're looking before you move to the next level. And
I want to go back to where I came from.
But God wants us to be uncomfortable in our faith.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, then it's not faith.
Mm-hmm.
If you already know the answer, it's not faith.
That's right.
And I'm saying to you that next level, that next level for you, it's gonna take you to take that leap of faith, not knowing how it's gonna turn out, not knowing how it's gonna end up, not knowing who's gonna support you, not knowing, like, just do it. Whatever God is calling, I don't know. And so just doing it and trusting is faith. So I don't know how this thing is going to end up. I don't know how it's going to, work itself out, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I want you to, I don't know, I have an event November the 6th. I want to invite you. Come to it. I'll message you the information and everything.
Okay.
Definitely. I don't know why I was listening. I'm like, man, but I just wanted to share that.
Well, I appreciate it. And like, thank you for doing your work, for doing the work. I do have a question. I know we're supposed to be closing out soon, but I have a question that's in my head. For the youth, it's about the youth. For the youth that just have no way. They don't trust anyone anymore. They don't believe anymore. What would you tell them? The ones that's hurting, that's they seen everything and they have a reason to feel how they feel. They have every reason and every right. What would you tell them to keep them holding on and going forward? What is something that you would tell them?
My first thing that I always feel that it's necessary for them to understand is that it's not their fault. It's not your fault. But it's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to be hurt. It's just not okay to stay there. It's not okay to hold on to that. But there's something special in each of us. And that thing that we have to tap into, that greatness that we have inside of us, we all have it. I want you to put much energy into it as if though you put into everything else that's causing you to be distracted. And as you go through what you go through, every young person that may watch this live, every person that we may come in contact, as they go through whatever they're going through, understand it's only part of the process that's going to build you, uplift them, and push them towards whatever they want to be and wherever they want to go in life. And so again, what you went through ain't your fault. What you choose to hold on to that's your fault. That's a choice. And everybody has a choice and a chance every time they wake up. And if you wake up, that's your chance, another shot at it. But I want you to take a swing at it. I want you to go for it, shoot your shot, get up every single day, give it everything you got. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you have went through. I don't care who done whatever to you. You have an opportunity to get it right and to go after your dreams. You don't have to be a product of your environment. You don't have to use your past as a reason why you can't excel or be great. Use it as fuel to push you towards your goals, because we all have greatness in us and we all are called here to do something on this earth. It's your job and your responsibility to execute whatever God has called you to be. And I love every last one of you. Man, listen, Queen Unique, thank you. Brother Jacob, thank you. And for everybody who's watched this, that just wasn't for the youth. It was for anybody who have a mature ear and an open heart to what I just told them. And I love every last one of you guys.
Hey, I got a message for you. I got a message from you from my mama. My mama said, Ella is on your live tonight. He is the truth. So you know that means like when I hear people who live through the 70s of the Depression days, through you know the Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X era, and through the Ronald Reagan bill and the Bill Clinton 3 strike law. When I hear them say something like that, it's registering, and so that prolific speech means more than you think. So I just wanted to show you, give you your flowers while you're here with us, brother, and show you my gratitude. And I do thank you for coming on. And I do want you and Queen Unique to definitely link up because she's got some powerful things she's doing with the Unique Blessings nonprofit and where you're at and how you're inspiring the youth and how you're dealing with it and just that mindset of I'm gonna say like my grandmama say, bless his heart, baby, bless his heart. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But I definitely want to thank you for coming on. And before we close out, is there anything you'd like to say, Queen Unique?
No, you missed it. I asked him the last final question about the youth. You can do the replay. But I want to say thank you. Thank you. I definitely will put your event on my calendar. So let's make sure that we stay in contact. I would love to have you come out and speak to the girls and stuff one day. And I heard we're getting a little boy coming this week. So just thank you. Continue to be who you are. Continue to just transmit that energy that you have. I thank you for filling me up tonight. Thank you for the confirmation, the service, even though I didn't think saints would be invited tonight. But this, I didn't even pick up my glass of wine not one time. And it's not because I didn't want to, but this was so good. It was so much needed. Thank you for pouring into me, for taking the time. And like I said, for you doing the work and that word that you shared with me. I will definitely let it penetrate my soul. I will let it nourish my body, my mind, and I will be sure to stay obedient. King Jacob, thank you so much. This was a gift. I truly, truly appreciate both of you tonight.
I just want to say, man, if there's anything that I can do for you, man, and your writing for the magazine will be coming out in January. So kudos to that.
Hey, listen. Thank you, man, for that. I got a lot of great people out in Colombia, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And what is his book? Where we can find them?
I forgot. Hey, listen. My fault. I want to talk. I'm gonna talk about everything. My documentary, man. My movie, man. My first book. My second book. My motivational posters, man. All that stuff is on my website at www.arkinspire.com. That's ARKINSPIRE.com. You can follow me on all social media platforms. If you're trying to book me, go to the website. If you're trying to, get any kids a part of the programs that we have, and I'm taking like 7 boys fishing on Lake Norman in the morning. And so that's what we do. Like I said, we can always revisit the conversation about what we're doing really, because this whole conversation, it went left. The spirit took it somewhere else. And it happens like that. Sometimes you just got to follow and flow with the spirit. And so, man, again, a lot of great things God has called me to do with these young boys, man. And that's really, honestly, that's just being a father, a male figure, a role model to them, what I didn't receive and what they don't have in their life. And what you see in the community today, you don't see a lot of positive male role models. And that's what we're lacking. Positive male role models who ain't on both sides of the fence. I ain't talking about Tyrone, who still smoke weed and drinking and still be in the communities and hood, still doing all the crazy stuff. I'm talking about the person who was on the right side and ain't wavering and he's standing on the right side, and and just showing these boys these different exposures to different things, man. I got a lot of connections with a lot of millionaires, and they're putting me in places where I can take my young boys. A friend of mine, he taking us on one of his big boats to go fishing. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he's supplying all the equipment, you know, and so stuff like that to me is so needed. You know what I mean? Taking the boys to Tennessee for 4 days for a men's retreat, you know what I mean? Taking them to the Panthers game, putting them on the field, you know what I mean? Just giving them these opportunities that they probably have never received, you know, and so to come from where I come from, to have these connections, I'm just giving it back. I'm paying it forward, you know, and so I'm being a vessel, I'm being a tool. God is using me, and I'm just using everything God has blessed me with to bless other people.
Yes.
We appreciate you, man. We definitely appreciate you, and I definitely be in touch, my brother, and I definitely, you know, be linking you and Queen Unique up. You know, both of y'all in Charlotte. I feel like y'all can do some powerful things, man, very powerful things.
We're gonna make that happen.
I sure will.
We're gonna make that happen.
And so I definitely, right. I definitely wanted to just thank you once again for coming on, man. And anytime you need us for anything, don't hesitate to call. We'll definitely be there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you both and everything. Like I said, Miss Queen, message me, DM me, reach out to me. I'll send you the information, brother Jacob. If you can, hey, Columbia ain't up an hour and a half. Take that trip on down to Charlotte. You know what I mean?
Okay.
In 2 weeks, come step out. Let me say, we got some other great, powerful speakers and everything. But man, listen, man, bring you some of the youth, man. Bring them down here, bro. Really bring them down here. Miss Queen, bring your group. You know what I'm saying? I add you onto the group. You bring your group to the event. And like I said, it's 14s and young adults. That's what I did. If I had, and real quick, I have so many mothers and people reaching out to me about, can you just talk to my son? And I don't have that luxury to just pick up a phone and sit and talk, you know. And so God put in my spirit to create an event and invite the people.
Nice.
And listen, Queen, listen to me. Listen to when I say this. And I said it earlier. Sometimes you just got to jump out there. And I may not know how this event going to turn out. I don't know who all is going to show up. The only thing I did, I said, bet I'm going to do it. I reached out to my dude doing the flyers. Put this event, this is what I'm going to do. I reached out to a few people. I need you. Some people can't, some people can. I don't know how it's going to turn out. God said, don't worry about it. Just do it. Don't see, if we always worry about how the outcome is going to be before we even make a step to do it, we'll never do it. We'll never do it. God's saying you're not operating in faith, you're operating in fear. And so, like, again, if one only show up, that's who it was for.
That's right.
So whatever God has called all of us to do, let's not worry about how it's going to end up, how it's going to end, who's going to support. Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about, let me just do it. Let me just do it. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with faith. You know what I mean? So, and I just wanted to say that. So I want to invite you to, Brother King Jacob. Come on, November the 6th. Come on down, bro. Bring some young people. Queen Unique, bring your people. You know what I mean? It's going to be free food. I reached out. Listen, you know, it's going to be some door prizes. I'm coming out of my own pocket for this. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody even sponsoring it. I'm coming out of my own pocket. I'm like, God, you're going to supply that. That's how I know I'm going to do the work. You're going to do the blessing.
Right.
Because I know that's how my God works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, and again, man, thank you all so much, man. And I gotta go ahead and slide. I gotta pack some stuff up for this fishing stuff in the morning and everything, man.
All right.
But y'all need me, let me know. Thank you so much, man. Y'all be blessed. Miss Unique, hit me up, okay?
Yes, I will. Thank you. And catch a fish for me tomorrow.
Hey, that's the goal, right?
All right, peace and blessings.
All right, blessings, y'all. All right.